Cody Rhodes recently opened up about a warning he received from WWE management. So we'll see what that's about. We'll also check out what's going on with Seth Rollins, the Judgment Day, and more. Let's start things off with the latest between Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Money in the Bank 2023 was the first time in 7 years that Finn Balor and Seth Rollins met in the ring with a world title being on the line. The ending of the world title match at Money in the Bank got spoiled for Finn Balor because Damian Priest, who just won the Money in the Bank contract, unexpectedly came out to ringside to sit and watch the match with his contract in hand. Damian, being at ringside, threw Finn Balor off his game and ended up costing him that title match. But in the weeks after that event, and after a few arguments between Finn and Damian, they both made a truce about their issues. They stopped bickering with each other and turned their united interests back into Seth Rollins, with Damian Priest promising Finn that he won't get involved, and how he'll let Finn fully have his fair shot at Seth Rollins before he makes any move with the Money in the Bank contract. So that was their agreement, and after it was made, WWE announced that Seth Rollins and Finn Balor would be having another match at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight title. A main topic and focus of the feud the entire time has been their SummerSlam 2016 match, and all that failure that Finn has gone through those 7 years. Well, now they're back at SummerSlam, 7 years after that night in 2016. Finn and Seth recently had the contract signing for their SummerSlam match, and a lot of interesting things were said and hinted at during that segment. Seth Rollins opened up by saying that Finn Balor legitimately has a 0% chance of walking out of SummerSlam as the new World Heavyweight Champion. Seth explained that the only two outcomes is either Finn straight up losing to Seth Rollins and facing defeat that way, or if Finn happens to get lucky and actually becomes champion. Seth said that the world title reign will be even shorter than Finn's last one-day reign, because Damian Priest will cash in right away and take the world title away from Finn Balor just seconds after he wins it. So that's definitely Seth Rollins trying to stir the pot and poke the bear there by touching on some of the biggest issues that the Judgment Day has had in recent weeks. Even before Damian Priest had won the contract, Finn did interrogate Priest and asked him if he would ever cash in on him. So this has been a reoccurring topic on Finn's mind long before Priest even won the contract. But now that Damian Priest did win the contract, it's been something that's really bothering Finn Balor even more. So Seth definitely knew what he was doing there by bringing up that potential SummerSlam outcome. And obviously it's something that Finn has also thought about. But for Seth to bring it up and remind him of that likely scenario, it's just gotta sting Finn just a bit and mess with his head, because Seth is most definitely right. Finn Balor has to walk into SummerSlam basically with the mindset of expecting to defeat both Seth Rollins and Damian Priest in consecutive matches if he walks out of SummerSlam as World Heavyweight Champion. So Seth is not over-exaggerating. The odds are definitely stacked up against Finn Balor here. And remember that Finn and Damian's deal and agreement with each other was that Damian won't interfere during the SummerSlam match. But once that bell rings and either Finn or Seth is the champ, all bets are off, and Damian Priest would technically have clearance to cash in on either man, since the terms of the agreement with Finn would be up by then. So it's definitely an interesting scenario to keep in the back of your head, but the idea of Priest cashing in on a wounded Finn Balor has been hinted at, mentioned, and teased so much by WWE that it almost feels like it has no shot of happening anymore. That scenario just feels a bit too obvious at this point, and when something feels too expected and obvious, WWE tends to go in a whole other direction. So that's what fans are thinking, that Damian cashing in on Finn really isn't going to be something we see. But that contract signing ends with a brawl, and despite his best efforts to fight them off, Seth Rollins just can't overcome the 4-on-1 odds, and the Judgment Day closes out Raw by standing over Seth Rollins. A lot of fans are questioning the logic behind this moment and wondering why Damian Priest didn't cash in during this perfect opportunity of Seth Rollins being knocked out. Well, the reason why he didn't cash in goes back to what we were talking about before. Damian Priest agreed to stay out of Finn's way with Seth Rollins until after SummerSlam. And like other fans have pointed out, technically the wounded champion has to be at least able to make it to their feet at the start of the Money in the Bank cash-in match. And Seth Rollins was obviously in no position to even stand at that point. So that could be another reason why it didn't happen. But it feels like regardless of what happens at SummerSlam during this matchup, either outcome is going to be trouble to the Judgment Day. If Finn Balor wins the world title, that aspect and possibility of Damian Priest cashing in on Finn will obviously be stronger than ever. And if Finn Balor doesn't win the title and some mishap takes place to once again cost him the title, that'll only make the issues amongst the Judgment Day resurface. So it's a very tricky situation. It really feels like it'll be a lose-lose situation for the Judgment Day either way with the outcome of this match. But we'll have to see how this current situation between Damian and Finn continues to play out. Cody Rhodes recently spoke with Jimmy Traina of the SI Media podcast, and he was asked about the fan reaction to him losing at WrestleMania 39, and if he truly understood the magnitude of the reaction. Cody Rhodes had this to say about the fan reaction to him coming up short against Roman Reigns. Quote, "A lot of managerial people in the company reached out to me, checking on me, and also reached out to let me know, don't go online. Don't go online. I didn't even think to go. It's such an incredibly busy week. There are so many emotions in that experience. I have my family with me. I lost in front of them, which is another level of embarrassment. I didn't even think to go online. Just the fact that they were preparing me or battening down the hatches. This is shaky. People are really frustrated. That surprised me. That surprised me a lot." End quote. So it's pretty interesting to know that WWE management were the ones warning Cody Rhodes and giving him the heads up for how toxic things were getting online amongst the fans following that big WrestleMania loss. And it was a big reaction from the fans because everyone had written Roman Reigns off heading into WrestleMania 39. Everyone truly expected to see Cody Rhodes pick up the big win and dethrone Roman Reigns. And when that didn't happen and when Roman actually retained against Cody, the internet did blow up. That WrestleMania 39 outcome is something that's still being discussed by fans in current day. But Cody said that the reaction truly exceeded anything he would have ever expected. And also in a recent interview, Cody Rhodes revealed that he's no longer the biggest fan of the term finishing the story anymore, due to how fans turned that phrase into a meme. But Cody said that finishing the story is still his main goal. He already said that winning the World Heavyweight title doesn't count as finishing the story. He has to win Roman's title in order to be satisfied and feel accomplished with that goal he set out to complete back in 2022. Cody and Roman are rumored to be meeting again at WrestleMania 40, but it looks like Cody Rhodes will still be picking up some major wins and taking part in other big feuds until WrestleMania season rolls around again. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.